wanted to touch on some of my thoughts on two different concepts behind a subject on effective altruism, and the other being it's called generic subjective continuity, GSC for short. With effective altruism, there's been some ongoing commentary on how, in a way, I guess, antinatalists or anyone, right, that has the competency or whatever to raise children for the betterment of the world should. So essentially my whole thoughts with effective altruism, for people that are with it, do it. You're either, that's your truth and you ride with that, or it's not, and you don't do it. For me, and I'm sure for others, it doesn't make sense for me to put somebody here to have to come here and die for somebody else. Very simple. These things are very simple. Why am I putting somebody here to have to die for somebody else? I wouldn't want to do that for my own. Now I'm doing that for somebody that has no say in this. So on that sheer concept alone, off of that basis, that's a no-go for me. It doesn't make sense to put somebody here to have to struggle and toil, for somebody else. It's just, that's just, with the whole vampiric, it's just crazy. If I'm not able to do something on my own accord, directly within my own will, within my own livelihood, then that's that. And the problem's going to be still a problem, and that's that. Just knowing the nature that comes with sentience, it doesn't make sense to continue to do sentience. It doesn't mean that we can't make the world a better place. I'm not saying that, no. But when we understand, again, the nature to sentience, it is pretty much insane to continue sentience. If you have any ethical consideration to that decision, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But for those that are of that, for anything anyone has to say, you have to speak your truth, and that's people speaking their truth. And that's cool. Do you. But I think for most people that are of this antinatalist, Efilist, whatever is mentality, it's just a little insane and a bit insulting in many respects, because there's a pathway that leads to somebody to being of this mentality, and to then second guess yourself. There's no second guessing with this. It should be solidified. In my eyes, when I see somebody turn back from this type of thought of being, abstinent to procreation, I don't really see that they really truly had any true ethical consideration to the matter, because nothing's changing. Nothing is new under the sun. There's nothing different. Yeah, your psyche, your mentality has changed for that sake. Now going back to, natalism and condoning the harms. Sure, but again, nothing is new under the sun. Any point that you had that was in any type of alignment with antinatalism is still there. You're just now postponing and moving away from that realm for whatever reason, but it's not really again, justifiable reason in the sense that we're looking to address. But, for people that are of that mindset, good for you. I hope the best. I hope that, people can do good. It just doesn't make sense for me to put somebody here to do good when I can't do good myself. That is to the point where I had to create somebody to have to come here to do the process of birth and death, because I couldn't complete something that I wanted to have completed. That there's people here currently in need, but I'm going to say no, and we'll create a new whole for my own sake, essentially, because it is your own sake. It's your own motivation. I don't care what type of intent you have behind it. The end result you want is still you doing that because you want to do that. So, again, people do what they want, whatever. But on the other end, with generic subjective continuity, I essentially see it as reincarnation. whatever. I can be whitewashing it or whatever, but it's essentially reincarnation. The basis is that only experience can be experienced. Consciousness will eventually always arise to some point, abiogenesis, if you will, that this world will continue being this world and humans or some form of sentience will be within it. I'm not going to argue that this isn't plausible or probable, whatever. It's not really the point. The point is that it's a fucked up reality. It is a nightmare in many respects if we're saying that this will continue. There's no refuting going on against antinatalism. It's just saying, hey, if you want people not to come here, well, they're going to come here whether they like it or not. That sounds like a sad scenario to me. There's one person in particular that I commented to one of his videos saying that I'll look to touch base on some of my thoughts eventually on this subject. So I'll look to tag him in the description if he would want to listen to my thoughts. But I've told him well enough, and it's just very obvious. It doesn't negate the fact that, again, this system, this function is very cruel. It doesn't change that reality now that, experience will continue to be experienced. It's just, if anything, adding to the fact. It's not negating anything. So people use that theory, generic subjective continuity, to say that we should look to do however best good that we can do for others around us, so that come the next life of whatever will that is us, it's not necessarily reincarnation literally, but it's just the concept of the will of sentience, the human spirit, whatever, that we're not going to be, I guess, a chicken getting their head cut off for the sustenance of whatever entity that's on top of chickens at that timeline, or whatever, that we just don't want to. It's just this fantastical shit. I don't know. But I just wanted to pose that theory, concept, generic subjective continuity. It's just, again, reincarnation with different legs, but it's the same gist, and it's nothing new. Those concepts should let you know that this is a nightmare going on in many respects. It does not mean that because that's the case that then antinatalism is futile. If anything, we should look to prevent however much we can prevent. It doesn't mean that, because that experience will be experienced, that I need to then create a child. Nope, that's a bit insane. But yeah, I just wanted to pose that theory out. So if anyone interested is about it, you can look into it. But yeah, with that in effective altruism, people will speak their truths. Whatever truth you have to say it. But I don't see anything higher than antinatalism in these types of realms, because it doesn't make sense to play with humanity. This human concept is pretty lame. I don't know what else to say. It's just mundane. It's boring. Most things that people do, most things that people embody, it's nothing that I would ever want to be around in the first place. Nothing that I would want to have any association towards. So yeah.